So our next award winner is from Sweden, and it's from Derail, and it would be very nice to have a short presentation from you about your idea and the award that you will receive in a minute.
Hello. So, I'm from Sweden. Hey, Björn. From a company called Derail. We're a startup, and I will tell you what we do. So, Derail can also stand for digital rail. So, but we also want to prevent derails, of course. So what we have is a infrastructure monitoring as a service. So that's what we have been developing for 3 years now. And who am I? My name is Christoffer, and I'm one of the founders and CEO of Derail. I have a background as first aircraft engineer, and then there was a financial crisis and I started working with trains. So for 10 years I've been working with trains. So I've been working with most of the trains in Sweden as warranty, commissioning, troubleshooting, all systems. And I've been consultant to Alstom and Bombardier on the factory and at the customer, finding faults in software and hardware, making sure the trains are working as they should. Harder than it sounds. So, when working with the trains, my last actual job as an employed was maintenance of around 40 trains in Sweden, the Regina 50 to 54. And what I came to know when working with those trains is that trains and infrastructure are two different kinds of things. When the customer at the platform sees railways, there is trains and there is infrastructure. And we installed a monitoring system on the trains back in 2012 to predict the trains and the maintenance needs. What we also saw was actually we could spot geographical problems happening with all the trains on the same spot in the infrastructure. So actually what we saw was infrastructure-related problems, such as catenary and rail defects. I came to know then that the measurement of the railways are actually not really so often. In Sweden, sometimes it could be 1 year in between two measurements. And it's often around 30,000 trains passing by between two measurements without knowing the condition of the track or the overhead electric. So I thought 3 years ago, I need to change this. But how? We had a vision that actually any train could be a measurement train. So in the basement, we built IoT with Arduinos and sensors. So what we actually did was the first route we drove with our Arduino, we found infrastructure problems. That was our first proof of concept. After that, we have made an MVP as well. So in 2017, in February, we got our first investment from a private company. That MVP was out driving on the railways in October 2017. Let's see. This blue spike is actually a rail defect in Stockholm Metro or Stockholm Subway. So 2 days before Christmas, the operator of MTR called me and said, we have a problem. We have a rail defect somewhere that's damaging the wheels, but we don't know where it is, and neither does Structon. 7 hours after they called, including packing and driving to Stockholm and installing, getting it approved from the security for MTR, the system was installed and found the defect. That's a cost damage to 1,600 wheels. And they could fix it the same night. we don't want to sell sensors, of course. We want to sell the information that we actually can see and analyze. So what we provide is an infrastructure monitoring as a service online in any of your devices. Our system is a platform where our sensors measure everywhere the train goes. I can show you the platform and how awesome it is after this. Of course, many operators also, or infrastructure owners, as, let's say Trafikverket, for example, have already 50 screens, have already the platforms, have already the maintenance solution to see the status of the track. So, of course, we can also API the information into their system already, what they have. This is just an example of one defect that's catched in between two measurements. So here the trains were driving 130 kilometers per hour, but no one knows about the fault. So could be a potential accidental problem. Could increase to a crack in the rail and could be a derailment. So what we want to do with our system is to predict rail switches, catenary track bed, third rails and balises. One box could easily be a wheel defect detection system that's being tested at the moment. To do exactly the same as Parpidum is doing on the SG trains, but instead of having one on each axle, you can have one outside the depot, and you can measure all your trains. The value we bring is automatic alarms on your entire network, every day. We trend the wear on your entire network, day by day. You can spot comfort problems, and of course, see the relative condition of the entire network, and spot where the vehicle is actually getting damaged. So our system is not longer an Arduino, it's not longer an MVP, but we have now a very extreme circuit board with the latest cutting-edge technology. We have the latest Bluetooth 5 inside the box, so we have, this summer we have engineering samples from Switzerland. But you don't need to take care about any of these things. We make sure they are installed correct. We make sure they are working. We make sure the data that's coming is correct. And we also analyze it. The installation is very easy. So at the picture you can see one at the pantograph, one at the bogie. 2 sensors on one train is enough to actually monitor your entire network, to be a measurement train. In the box in the bogie, we also have an ATC or RTMS system. So actually we will also measure the balises, the frequency and amplitude, and we will give you the function of the balises relatively to change them before they break. The system is, of course, CSM-RI, considered not to be a significant change, and also 100% reversible. So it's just an add-on, and it does not integrate with the train. We have done some projects together with Swedish Trafikverket this summer. So from May to actually ongoing now, we are measuring from Storlien to Luleå. It's half of Sweden with one train. And we have spot things that they don't have. So we have saved overhead electric ruptures, catenaries from falling down, and track defects. And from the beginning, by having asset managers afraid of the amount of alarms that actually will come from a system like this, to embrace it, to say that this is needed. It will save time, money, and lives to know the status of the track every day and to predict the maintenance needs. So we have a launch set for February 2019, where we can go anywhere in the world with the boxes, and you will have your network online the next day. Also, they will own the data, so it's a unique server for every customer. And also, the algorithms that is found in India, for example, could be used as well in Sweden to actually detect the same kind of problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.